So we're starting with the basics because Yolanda said her students said, teacher, we need the letters of the alphabet. And that's where literacy students need to start. So sometimes they need things that our other students don't need, right? So you can see that these are broken down into lessons by letter groups. And there's only a minimal number of letters that are consonants, and there's only one vowel. And at the bottom, you see, let me get my annotation so you can see what I'm talking about. It's not helping. You get a different color. So you see at the bottom with these arrows, that just means we're teaching students to move from left to right and to connect the sounds, right? Ba, ba, ga, ga. And it's important to remember that when we're pronouncing the letters, that we don't add an extra vowel or a schwa at the end. So when we pronounce these words, let me clean this stuff off. Well, when you pronounce these letters, I'm sorry, when we introduce a letter, we are going to say b, b, not b, because especially Korean students and a lot of language learners who always have a vowel sound at the end of a word or after a consonant, they'll think that's intentional. And so they will say bad instead of bad. Maybe you've noticed that. So we have to be really intentional and careful when we present letters. B, b, d, g. And there's a video that we shared in the last training that Irene brought to our attention that is helpful if you want to just skim through that and see how a teacher does that so that we don't make that mistake. It's just kind of a square one when we're presenting our letters and the letter sounds. And so this is just something that this is just the first part of it, but you can see it's the same letter group, different ways. And then there's building of words. B, and then you've taught them a, and then you say g, bag. It's basic decoding, super basic. So if you start with, this is one of those things where you need to differentiate. So your rest of your class, they'll be with you for the beginning of it, and then they'll go, oh yeah, boom, boom, I got it. While your beginners need more time. So you might want to make these cards for them, and they can actually work on this with you and the other students are doing something independent, or vice versa, where you've got them set up and they can practice with each other and you can do something at a higher level with your other students. So there's just the first few cards, but that can get you started if that looks interesting. Let me go back. Wow, there's just so much stuff in here. Just check it out. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything critical. The thing that I really want to so here's a whole series of resources, okay? But I really want to talk about this with you. I think this is really going to be a game changer for you.
Mm.
What this is a list of units. Unit 1 is welcome. Unit 2 is personal information. Unit 3 is at school. Does this remind you of anything?
The themes from Ventures.
Yes, exactly. We used the themes from Ventures, but even if you don't use Ventures, most 21st century textbooks have very similar units, right? The point is they have a topic that is important to students. So we have friends and family, then you have health, all those things that you see in a textbook. Even side by side has a certain amount of this, although side by side is more challenging because they're not as topical. They're more grammar based and they put a lot of grammar in each.
A familiar context.
Yeah, so you get the idea. So we introduced this at our last COP and we talk through how to do it. So what I'd like to do is do that with you. I'm being kind of presentational here. I hope it's not boring you to death. Just let me know. But the point is, we're just building from basic to more advanced, and we're going to incorporate all the letters, both consonant and vowels, and we're going to incorporate how to spell them, this phonics from what we hear, and then the different ways we write it in words that students are studying for vocabulary. That's the key thing. They're not random words. They're words that they see pictures to, that they're talking about, and they're listening to you say, and their classmates say all the time. So the welcome unit is where you're assessing what's letter names do students know. You're calling out the vowels. Your students are spelling their names. We always start with the most student-centered topic, which is me and my name. And then we move to our family, right? So that's why personal information is first. And then also we want to do numbers, right? And these we're going to recycle, but let's talk about the first unit, okay? The way we set this up is that there's bullets that are for new and then some kind of review. So you're always reviewing. And you might need to review more depending on your students, but this is just a suggested starting place. So what is new? Well, the letter A. What about the letter A? Short versus long, and long with a silent E. And so we give you some words that are topical that you learn in this unit from your book, or if you're talking about this topic with your students. So short A, you've got your last name, you've got N answer. What do? You ask and you get an answer. I am, and. These are really basic words, right? Do they seem contextualized? I hope so. Then we're looking at the long E words. Long A with silent E. Really basic personal information is your name, your date, what state you live in, what your age is, and what place you come from or you live. So all of these are super connected to the topic of personal information. Now, we are also going to share some irregular high frequency. A lot of people call these sight words. So that immediately when you see them by sight, you know how to say them. And that's just repetition. But the thing is, they're irregular. So if we're following the silent E rule, what should this sound like if we're following the rule on this word? How do you pronounce it?
Have.
No, not if you're following the silent E rule. What's the silent E rules? The silent E means that the vowel says its name.
Oh, right. Vowel says
So
its
if the
name.
vowel says its name, how do you pronounce that?
Have.
Yes, that's right. So we have to call out the irregular words. This is a super high frequency word, isn't it? Teacher, I have a headache. What do you have? Does everybody have a piece of paper? Does everyone have your password, right? So we're going to call those out, and we're going to keep a running list of this, maybe on a poster in our room or in a Schoology document, a Google Doc, okay? Or maybe students can print it out, whatever. And then there's a little extra information. Long sounds, letters say their names. And I used to create a little visual where the silent E had a big fist and a muscle and was kind of saying, what's your name? What's your name? Hey, hey, hey. So I used to play with that. But the point is, we're focusing on one letter and only two sounds and one spelling rule. Okay. And then you're going to review letter names, right? So I don't have it in front of me, but if I had my Ventures book, you know that vocabulary is right at the beginning of the unit. So you're going to be doing these words and you don't have to take a lot of time. It's really a mini lesson. You're gonna just say the words and have students repeat, and then you can call out what you ask them, what's the same? What's the same about all of these words? When you look at the end of the word, what's the same? And they're gonna say, oh, E, or the letter, right? And then you're gonna say yes. And I'm really about discovery learning. So not necessarily telling the students, but saying, what do you see? What's the same? What's repeated, right? And that way they're gonna learn it better and longer. So the point is, it's very focused, but it's also tied to the unit that they're studying. What are you guys hearing? What questions do you have? Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'll just look at another one. And we're going to go deeper into this as well when we have our training on Friday the 25th. But just looking at it's at school, what's new and what's review. So let's look at the new. Okay, so what's new? Okay. But what did we do? What's similar to what we did in the previous unit? Yeah, we're doing a little bit of recycling the same idea, silent E, the vowel says its name, and maybe I'll do this again here. Okay, whoops. So we have it twice, okay. So you can see there's two sides. What's the left box for?
Short O.
Or-
Good, okay. We want to try and keep them one syllable words, but it doesn't always work, right? So do these words mostly seem like they're tied to the unit topic at school?
Yes.
Mostly, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe hot. I don't know. It's a questionable one, but it's oof, it's really hot, right? Something like that. But then you can notice that these are all what? What's the same about those?
Classroom
Yeah, so these are,
Silent
yeah, these are all the long O with your
and long
silent E.
O's. Mhm.
Yep, yep. So, there
So
are,
Dave, you're
ahead.
starting with the vowels as opposed to starting with like M or some other letters.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You can do what you feel best, and that is a way to do it. Not a problem, Kathy. That's a great point.
No, when I went to TESOL, there was a teacher there that she has a website and I can
Yeah.
share it with you. And she started with some of the consonants and I'm not
Yes.
sure why. But like
Yes.
M, N, for example, maybe you can tell me why she would
I
have
don't
done that.
know. That's a great comment. I'll have to Google that. And then they
Okay.
go to YouTube. Most of the young people, they go to YouTube before they go to Google because it's a moving picture of a face and someone's explaining,
Oh.
which is so that we don't Google anymore, we YouTube. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that's a great question. I do not know the answer.
Okay.
So there's some irregulars here. A double O, it's not going to be, they're going to see this. This is the reason I put this because at school, right? It's right in the topic. Ooh. So sometimes not all of these have the same sound. Ooh and school, book, look, room, too.
Hmm.
They're not all the same. But at this stage in the game, don't worry about it. We're not going to go that deeply with students, right? And then you're going to have your irregular word. That would
Okay.
normally be dough, right? It's an open, I'll use the fancy words. It's an open syllable, right? And that would be a dough. And that's not how we spell it or say it, right? So this is key to point out to students. And then we can review the letter A with the long A, table, paper, stapler, eraser. So I had fun doing this because I feel like if we can make it contextualized and give new stuff, but recycle. So you can look at this more on your own, and wherever you are in your term, you can start with that. You don't have to start at the beginning. You might have to kind of do a little bit of backtracking and stuff, but you can start right where you are. So do you guys have any questions or concerns about this? Does it make sense?
No, it does. I did
Um,
print that one yesterday.
Good, good. And this is something you could take out. I mean, you could just share this stuff with students, just the boxes, and put that on a one pager for them. And maybe just the rule, can maybe just put this. And that's a nice thing for them to have, and they can review it. Can maybe even do a Schoology quiz or, assessment.
What about
No.
the literacy book? Is
Okay.
there, does
There is
this,
not a that we have the
the
Ventures
Ventures
Basic,
literacy
yeah.
book?
I haven't looked at it. It's right around the corner. I might go grab it. Hang on just a second. Let me go grab it.
Okay.
Let me see if I have it.
Yolanda, are you getting a lot of students in your classes that don't know how to read and write from all over?
Well, I'm mainly working with students from Afghanistan, and it's an online course.
I have a lot of Afghanistan students here in Torrance, and
Oh, okay, wow.
especially the women who have had no formal education. So they don't have a frame of reference. Like if I put an apple up, they don't know that it's called apple. So
Oh, wow.
to even say that A sound, etc. I mean, they learn it after they've been here a while, but I think the challenge is that they don't have a base, like even children, they'll have heard mama or apple or hungry. And these students, they don't have that English background at all. So I'm just wondering how people at LAUSD over the years have handled these students. 'Cause I want to spend time with them so they're learning, yeah, and not just sitting while everybody's learning ventures.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, because,
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, you're talking.
No, no, no. Now that you mentioned, like, I hadn't thought about, I didn't think I had access to the ventures, but I do. I do have it. So it's like, I'll start with that as well.
Oh, you use side by side?
No, no, no. It's just that this is something aside from my assignment.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have access to the book, but then I just realized, wait, I do.
You could use the presentation and the Cambridge one because you're online. It's all digital presentation
Yeah.
stuff. That would be really great, Yolanda. I'm looking at the Venture Basics. I only have the literacy workbook. They do a little bit different thing. They have they choose certain letters for each of the units. Like for example, I can't show it to you, but their personal information, they have all capital letters. They have the letters L, T, F, O, C, U, I, H, E, J, V, G. It's kind of random. I'm sure it's because, I don't know, I need to look at it. It might be simpler to draw for beginners. You know, most of them have straight lines, sort of, or circles. And then the other ones have like more, they're more difficult to write and there's more double curves, like an S and an R and a K. So maybe that's why. And then the second, then they move on. Friends and family unit is lowercase letters. But you can look at that. I mean, it's definitely, you could do both. The workbook has a lot of writing of the letters and students need that. And so I'm gonna, I think this is a great support for when you need to differentiate. Like, okay, students, everybody in the class, let's focus on some letters, names or places that need a capital letter and that start with, you know, H or W, and then let's write a few of them, and then we can have those beginners, those literacy students, open the workbook and practice writing the letters. And they can move from drawing letters to writing them, right?
Writing letters.
Key thing with, let me stop sharing. The key thing with beginners that sometimes they don't even know how to move from left to right, top to bottom. And we need to teach them that. And if we don't know that as a teacher, we won't remember to teach it. So we need to, and Irene has some really great stuff. I want to show you that next. The next thing I want to share is the curriculum that Irene and Liz Koyman created a few years ago. Let me pull that up. So where is it? Hang on. Where did I put it?
Hey,
Hang on.
Dave.
Yeah.
Well, over the years, what has LAUSD done for all these students that I'm sure that
Whoops.
over the decades, students have walked in and they can't read and write in any
Well, we
language.
do have a course outline. There is a course outline. Let me just show it to you.
But is there a book or is there a structured program?
The course outline, and I'm going to show you the structured program. Let me quickly show you though.
Great.
Where is it? Let me instructional resources. Wait a minute. Where is it? Courses. Okay, course outlines. Hang on. Let me go back. Sorry. I'm going to show you this, but I'm not a true believer in it. This is a very old literacy course outline. Let's see if it's still even here.
So is there a class lower than 1A?
Yes, it's literacy, but like what we found is that most schools do not schedule a literacy class all by itself. They incorporate literacy with ESL 1. So this is what this course outline looks like. And you can get it from the website. I'll send you the link.
Oh, right.
So it has a lot of carefully put together. It's like the old course outlines, right? You've got the competency. Sorry, I'm having a hard time centering here. Let me make it bigger for you. So it's you can see the competency area, personal information, then there's minimal competencies or sub-competencies. And then they break it down into trimester A and B. S means you're going to stress, R is review, right? And then you see you see grammar and some learning strategies. The point is that it looks like this. So let me make it a little smaller because it's a little too big right now. Okay, so oral language, listening. So you demonstrate the comprehension of individual vowel sounds, syllables, and words. Simple numbers, words, phrases, statements. Well, this is all great, but I want to show you something better because this is what Liz, give me a second here, guys. Liz and Irene created. Can you see my screen? The
Yeah.
Google list? Okay,
Yes.
so it's literacy and literacy project overview and initial docs. Oops, that's not it. I'm sorry. Did I mess up? COP. Oof. I think I might have opened the wrong one, you guys. Literacy resources. Okay, literacy resources. I think I sent this to you in the email. Does it look familiar at all or no? Let's find out. So this
Yes,
is
I think you did. Yeah.
yeah, these
Yeah,
two top
yeah.
folders are the great ones. Course content. So you can see there's assessment and there's we have the student score sheet. Okay. But let's not worry about that right now. You've got where is it? Literacy folders. And this has the list of competencies that your beginners or your literacy students should know.
I like that.
Say the alphabet, spell your first and last name, pair a letter to an image. So you know, like a CASAS test, you know, A is the sock and B is the t-shirt. 4 is sound letters. Do they know all the sounds of the letters? Can they count to 10? So this is basic. This is your competency checklist. Okay. Recognize 100 sight words. So this would be something for you to have at the front of your planning book and to recycle this. So if you have to have them recognize 100 sight words, you have to say, well, let's split that up. Let's do 10 per week for 10 weeks or something. And then how are we going to teach them that? How are we going to have games? How are we going to have practice times, right? Every Friday, are we going to have a quiz or they just have to recognize them. So maybe they have to just call them out with a partner and I'll listen or something. It's really up to you, but this is basic skills, right? Okay. So that's your literacy folders. Realistic objectives to achieve in a 12-week class. This is a similar thing. Okay. This is what Irene and Elizabeth came up with.
Oh, that's great.
It's very similar to what you just saw. Your goal is to look at them both and see which one you want to use. Choose one or maybe mix the two together and make your own.
And we have access to this on the drive?
Yep. Let me give you, I'll give you the link in just a second. So let me go back to sight words. So you know that we talked about those 100 words? Here's a list of 95 of them.
Oh, that's fantastic.
With a picture. Okay.
Did you put that together, Dave?
No, it's something that Irene did, I think.
Great.
So the thing is they're just all over the place. They're alphabetized, but they're not by topic. And so this is where it's challenging. You want to say, okay, Apple, I'm going to do that in the unit under food. Baby, I'll do that under family. Ball, that I'll do it in free time. So you're going to want to like pull these and put them in categories and save them for that unit. Like bear, I don't know if that's really, for some reason that doesn't seem right to me. Literacy vocabulary. So this is another one. I think this is actually better. Here are the 22 most important words. Maybe that would be your first 2 weeks. 20 more is your next 2 weeks. Then you can see there's a lot of them. So you need to kind of like say what's realistic. And some of these bleed into ESL 1 because you can see it goes up to 176. Okay.
Mhm.
So you're not going to do all of those with the literacy, right? Okay. Let me see what else. Okay, so let's go back. Let me get rid of some of these tabs up here. The good thing is this. This is the money. I should have started with this, but I made you wait for it. First of all, course overview and structure. This is a great, great starting point. Let me make it bigger. If you were to break it down, this is what the women did. Personal information, sociocultural interaction, community and occupation, consumer economics. So how do they organize it? Well, topic 1 is units 1 through 4. I'll just let you read that. Very basic information, that's personal information that's going to be on the test at the end of the term. And we recycle this over and over and over again. The next one is the instructional routines. You're going to see this in just a moment when I show you the curriculum. So Monday or day 1 is listening with vocabulary and comprehension. Day 2 is reading with vocabulary review. Wednesday is going to be going into grammar. Thursday is writing, and Friday, I love what they call it, joyful assessment. Games and projects. You know, it doesn't have to be always a spelling test every day. So here are the instructional routines, and you're going to look at this in detail later, but basically it's very detailed. The teacher writes their name, the date, the topic, and the skill. And then you've got a step by step here. And it includes a WAPIA, right? You guys are familiar with that. And that's your overview. Now let's go a little more deeply into it. Let's look at unit 1 through 4. Oh, let me go back actually. So you can see, let me make it bigger. Unit 1 through 4 is personal information, 5 through 8, personal information, and now you're adding some basic communication skills. Then 9 through 12 is health and safety, and 13 through 20 is community, work, and money. And that's all you can do with your beginners. Maybe even ESL 1. But let's look at the personal information. Now, just go to, there's a lot here. Whoops, hang on. Let me make this smaller. Unit plans. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I want to make this better. I want to make this look better. I want it to pop so you can go to this, okay? Unit 1. I'll just show you the first one, okay? But you could use this verbatim, you guys. It's so good. Let me make it bigger. So, there's some basic introduction stuff. Keep it simple. The 3 R's: routine, repetition, and recycling.
I think I lost the view of that. I don't know about.
Let me make sure you can see it. Can you see it? Can you, Yolanda? Can you see this?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, I'm gonna just do a little more talking and then I'll shut up. All right.
Okay, let me. Yolanda can see it. So there it is. Okay, I got it.
So it's basically day by day, and it tells you what you need. You write your routine up on the board, and then you have to have a set of flashcards for Wednesdays, all the commands. So here's the routine. It's got a warm up, the topic, the objectives, the vocabulary. The vocabulary starts with letters of the alphabet and a lot of commands, right? Now, this is very much literacy. And if you have ESL 1, if you got some fast learners, they're going to get bored, but this is a good place for you to start. And embedded are some YouTube videos. And then you have day 2, phonics and sight words, reading. And they have all the activities. Everything is here. It's really, really good. The trick for you guys is how you might want to integrate it with what you're doing already. That's the tricky part. For you, Yolanda, you could just kind of take this and run if you wanted, because most of your students are literacy, right?
Well,
sort of? No?
beginners and literacy.
Okay, yeah.
So you know,
yeah, you got your day 3, and again, it has basic step by step.
How many
And then
days does this have?
it's 5 days. The last day is always your joyful assessment. For this one, it's focused listening.
Are
So
these like a
basically,
2 hour class or longer?
yeah, about a 2 hour class. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So that is located in,
Oh, and it has the 4 units.
yeah. So you've got unit 1 through 4, 5. You've got 20 weeks of content.
It's superb.
Yeah. And
And that's,
there's a sample long range lesson plan. This is just the start. It's not all, it's just got the theme.
mhm.
But anyway, what else is important? The other thing I really wanted to share with you guys is a great for both literacy and um, beginners. And Kathy, you did this with me in the new teacher training. It's called the Big Cheese.
Oh, the big
So
cheese. Mhm.
have you done that at all with your students? I really encourage you to consider it. Let me go there now. Yolanda, have I ever shown this to you? Ever seen
Uh,
this?
I think I saw something yesterday. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Okay,
Or I don't remember.
that's okay. Let's look at it now because you want to basically, oops,
I'd love to see it again.
students learn to write what they can say. So if we can take their words and put them on the screen, on the paper in front of them, and use that for our text, that's really powerful because they care about it. I said that. That's about me or about my school or about my class. They're more drawn to struggle to learn it. So let me show you. Let me just type in the search. Hang on a sec. Okay, big cheese. Where is it? The big cheese slides. Okay, so you can use these slides. Let me go ahead and give you this in the chat and you can copy it and take it. Okay, so don't click on it now. Just stay with me for a second.
Okay.
So it looks like this, the big cheese, writing what we say about ourselves. So you say, who do you see on the screen? It's the president. Um, whoops, I gotta clean this up. That's messed up. Let me fix it. Sorry, I made a mistake. I mean, it's a messed up period, but I'm not gonna say that out loud. Okay, let me add an animation here so that it comes up in the right order. Okay. Okay, let me do it again. All right. So what you're going to show the students is, what do you see, class? And they say cheese, queso, cheese. And you teach them where the word cheese if they don't know how to say it in English. And you say, now what do you say? Ooh, big cheese. And you say, yeah, big cheese can be something you eat, but it also can be a person. What kind of person? Well, look at the people here. These are all big cheeses. Big cheeses are important people. Guess what? In our class, we have important people. Who's important people in your house? Who's the big cheese in your house? For example, in my house, I'm the big cheese. But my friend's house, the dog is the big cheese. And then we ask the students, everybody, who is the big cheese in your house? And we can give them a list of people if they need help. Mom, husband, wife, partner, sister, dog, brother, child. And we just ask them, who's the big cheese? We really want them to understand that concept. And you can say, great. Well, in our classroom, we're going to have a big cheese, one every week. So the big cheese today is me. A big cheese is going to answer your questions. You can ask me any question. And with literacy and beginners, you might want to have pictures for prompts or write the sentences on the board. Okay. And so you could say, well, what kind of questions? These are the good questions that you want students to ask the big cheese. You don't want them to be yes or no questions. So, and you want to tie it to the unit if possible. But in the beginning, it's whatever they can say. And I give them the questions for beginners. What's your name? What's your last name? What do you like? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite music? We don't say, do you work? Because that's yes or no. And that's not, we don't want them to just say yes. We want the big cheese to answer about him or herself. So this is what it might look like. So let me go back. The big cheese sits in the front and you say big cheese, you say questions, and you model someone soliciting questions, and you have the big cheese do that. Questions. And then you tell the other class students, you're gonna ask questions. Like we talked about, what's your first name? What's your last name? What, are you married? What's your favorite? And big cheese, you can pass. You can say, I don't want to say, but most students want to say. And so they start, and then you have a secretary. This is important. This is where the reading and the writing comes in. So, for example, if someone asks this is from a COP, Nazaret Ramirez from East LA. So someone said, what's your name? And she says, my name is Nazaret. And so I'm the secretary for beginners because they need someone who can actually write. So I write her first name is Nazaret. But I'm not describing this very well. It'd be better if we did it for real. Let me do it for real with you guys. Let's do it for real. So that this is better. I want to do it so that this makes sense more for you. Basically, where is it? Let me escape here.
Yeah.
All right. Let me share this screen and we'll do it together. Okay, so you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So I will be the secretary, and who will answer questions? Yolanda or Kathy? Who will answer questions about yourself?
Okay.
I'll answer.
Okay, so Yolanda's the big cheese. So I would write the big cheese is Yolanda. Now, Kathy, you're going to ask questions. So if you have big literacy level students, what can be really good is to make so that they practice their letters. You ask them, what are your initials? So Yolanda, you say questions.
Questions?
And Kathy goes, question. And then you say, what's your initials?
What are your initials?
Yolanda, you ask. You ask Kathy, what's your initials?
Oh,
What are your initials, Kathy?
C and R.
Good. Now, we need to talk. This is practice of letters of the alphabet. And so we have to model this, right? So the point is that they're having to say, and some students have really hard ones like I and E, which are really hard for Spanish speakers. And so this is an added step. But the big part is really the question. So now, Yolanda, you're going to ask Kathy for a question.
Yeah.
What is your first name?
Oh no, Yolanda, you say question.
Oh,
And
questions.
You're the big cheese. You don't ask the questions. Only Kathy or another student in
Okay.
the class. So Kathy.
Questions.
What is your first name?
My first name is Yolanda.
Great. Now, with literacy students, you can do a couple things. And if you have a multi-level ESL beginner class, you can ask the higher level students, so the secretary, which is you, or in this case, me as the teacher would say, what do I write class? What do I write class? And they'll tell me, her first name is Yolanda. Okay, so you're showing that you're switching from I to she and her. This might be too hard for your literacy. You might put the question and the answer. So you might write the question, what is your first name? And then your answer, my first name is Yolanda. After a few weeks, you might add this other level, okay? This is harder and the students might not be ready for it because you're substituting from first person to third person, and that's challenging.
Yeah, it is.
So I wouldn't necessarily do that. But I do like color coding questions in green go,
Mhm.
and red stop answer. That's something you can do, but you don't have to, because
Oh, but I like that.
ultimately you're going to use color coding later for different parts of speech and different grammar and different punctuation. So I'm going to pretend that, okay, Yolanda, you ask questions.
Questions.
Ooh. Question.
What's your question, Dave?
Okay, so Yolanda has to ask me, and I'm gonna say, what's your initials? Either as a teacher, you can help. You can say, what's your initials? But, okay, so then I'm gonna say, Yolanda, do you have children?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so what? Okay, so let's put the question. Do you have children? And then she says, what did she say? She said, what, Kathy? She said, yes, I do. Okay, great. I don't know why I did that, but it's black. Okay, so then let's do one more. Yolanda, what does the big cheese say?
Questions.
And Kathy's busy right now, but let's pretend that. Okay, ready, Kathy?
Yes,
So
I'm ready.
We got hers. And what question do you have?
How many children do you have?
I have 3. I have 3 children.
Okay,
Nice.
very nice.
Okay, so let's stop. You get the idea. There are 3 roles. There's the big cheese, questions, answer. There's the audience, ooh, ooh, ooh. And then there's the secretary, right? So those are the 3 roles. And this is day 1. You just do this, and then you just have everybody in the class ask the question, Yolanda answer. So let's practice. Kathy, number 1. 1, 2, 3.
What is
What is your name? Yolanda?
My first name is Yolanda.
Class, 1, 2, 3. Do
Do
you
you
have
have children?
children? Yolanda?
Yes, I do.
Class, 1, 2, 3.
How
How
many
many
children do you have?
Yolanda?
I have 3 children.
Done. That's day 1. And the first day, the first 2 times you do this, it'll take some time because they're learning the process. But I only do 1 student for a week. So what do we do? So this is day 1. So let me do something for you. Let me get another text box. So day 1, what did we do day 1?
Personal information?
Well, yeah, so the topic is personal information, true. But what did we focus on? What tasks did we do or activities? So we had 3 roles, big cheese, audience, and secretary.
Secretary.
Okay. Then we just questions and answers
Mm-hmm.
and full class repeat. So that's it. So day 2 is going to be, we're going to start with what we finished with the first time. And then we're going to focus on something, maybe some listening, maybe some phonics, maybe listening and phonics. Oh, listening and phonics and vocabulary. Whatever you think your students need. So you can have them, or even just copying it. You could have them copying onto their own. Okay. But one thing you could do is say, who can find the word name? And then they, or what number has the word name? Number 1. What number has the word I? Number 2. Just so that they're getting practice finding words. Okay, simple words, finding them. That's your vocabulary. Your phonics could be what we talked about before. We've got your long A sound with a silent E. We got your irregular. So there's only 2 of them. Let's talk about day 3. What might you do on day 3? Maybe vocab. What other things do our literacy students need to learn? Basic writing or reading.
Reading.
Sight words.
What?
Sight words.
Sight words. Yes, irregular. ones. So we have the word have. How about if we were to teach them maybe capital letters?
Right, punctuate, basic punctuation,
Whoops,
periods.
I'm sorry, you guys, capital letters and or punctuation.
And is it too early for vowels?
It's maybe not. That could be here,
Mhm.
or it could be you. That might be better to do on day 3 or day 4. I like that. You're right. Vowels. Okay, so day 4, what could we do? What else? Maybe partner practice
Mm,
so that one person plays Yolanda and the other person asks the question. Let me make this a little smaller. Hang on. It's too big for us right now. Sorry, it's going to get a little smaller. I
That's
hope you
okay.
can see it.
It's
So
legible.
partner
Yeah.
practice. Now, when you have them do the punctuation or the capitals, definitely look at this. So whenever there's capitals, maybe have someone come circle with a red pen, or you can do the famous 2 lines or 3 lines underneath it, you know, that writing symbol.
Mhm.
So that they are also learning writing symbols. But all of this stuff you see on the screen here, you can practice. Adjectives, circle the adjectives, circle the numbers. Anything with grammar, any possessives, her, right? My and her. You know, you're going to have more content to work with than just 3 sentences. So that's good. You could, as you get more and more into it, you could do details and main idea. But the main thing is really this stuff right here. You know, articles, demonstratives, plurals. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
whatever your students need to learn as you're walking around watching them doing other activities, that's going to be your mini lesson. And then you're going to okay, let me put this here. Circle or underline focus elements. Does that make sense when I say circle or underline focus elements? So like you're focusing on a third person S, like is, you know, you're gonna maybe circle it. I'm doing this all digitally to show you that you can do it, Yolanda.
Mhm.
But you have to like, it takes a little bit of, okay. So where are all the S's? Oh, there's a yes. Is, so, you know, you figure out what, if you're focusing, use your book, use the grammar from your book. What are you focusing on that unit? Just try and keep everything really cohesive and coherent. You know what I mean? So if your book is focusing on this grammar, do it in your big cheese. So let me just finish this off though. Day 5 is I like to do dictation. And I turn the poster away from them, or I don't let them see that. And then I have them type it or write it. And then I just give them the answer. They check it themselves. And then I say, you know, how many of you, how well did you do on a 1, 2, or 3 scale? And then I say, guess what? We're going to do it again every week with a different big cheese. And that way if you're in a classroom, you have all these posters all over the wall, and then students keep seeing, oh, look at it's just a reminder of who they are and the grammar and the spelling and the vocabulary they're learning, and it's all about them. If I had no textbook, I would use this as my curriculum because it works. I did this with ESL 2, but you can do it with ESL 1. You just do it at their level. And guess what? It's all personal information. So you could add questions like, what's your address? And if people don't want to tell you, you can tell them to make one up or choose one from the board that they're going to make their own. So they're practicing those listening, the speaking, the reading and the writing of the things that are important for them to exit the level. And that,
Oh,
how do you know what those are? That's on that long list, and it's also in your course outline.
Okay.
So that was a lot. What are you guys hearing? What are you thinking about this stuff? I'm going to share this. Oh, you got this link already.
Yolanda, go first.
No. It's just that now I have some resources and stuff, and I hadn't thought about now that, you mentioned the topics and stuff, kind of try to get a ventures book, which I already have. So
Great.
something just to get started, because I had to come up with my own ideas.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I think it's helpful for me too, the way to integrate it into a large class that has, I usually have anywhere from 2 to 4 students. And I have several languages here in Torrance and also at LA Unified. And I don't feel in good conscience that I can just leave them sitting there, that they need additional help. And
Right.
this summer, I'm going to be putting together a course for students. It's kind of an experiment for these low literacy or non-literate students.
Mhm.
And it's 14 hours a week for 1 month. And
Mhm.
so, Dave, I was hoping to get some advice from you.
Yeah,
When I was at TESOL,
yeah,
nobody knew, like nobody could give a name of a book that they could use. The closest we came to was National Geographic Stand Out. And I wanted to ask you, I think that's the correct name, if you
yeah,
could recommend a book that I could use for a structured program, because even Ventures only has the literacy book.
yeah. I don't think most books do what I'm telling you. Books give you content. They'll give you letters of an alphabet. They'll give you short little readings. Oh, and that's the one other thing. Well, I'll come back to that.
Okay,
But they don't give you strategies. You
right.
need mini whiteboards. You need T-charts where for example, you need the bingo cards where students can discriminate between sounds. So like if you're doing, for example, E and I, so
Mhm.
come up with 10 words that have an E sound that are from their book that they know, like eat, me, see, we, words they
Oh,
know.
you're right. Today we played bingo with the whole class of level
Mhm.
1. We used the yellow book at Torrance,
Yeah,
the basic.
yeah, right.
And when we did professions for Unit 8, the Chinese student who couldn't read or write when she got here, she could find all the professions that started with a B. If I
Nice.
said whatever, but
Yeah,
I was really surprised at how well she had picked up the alphabet and the phonics.
great.
So you're saying to do more like games and visuals?
Well, students need, before you can write a letter correctly, you need to know what sound it makes.
Mhm.
We don't have to, but you want to connect what you're hearing with the symbol, right? So I like to do a T-chart
A T
for
chart.
sound dis letter sound discrimination. Let me show you. I'm gonna model it.
Okay.
Discrimination. And what's so great about it is it's visual and it's immediate. So students know immediately. So you say, okay, so let's come up with some words that are long E and what do students usually mix up? Long E and well, no,
A and I,
let's A and I. Okay, so let's do that.
especially the Spanish speaking students, A
So
and I.
long A, so that's A and long I.
Yeah. And E and I too. Mhm.
Yeah, there's lots of long I. Okay. So A words. Let's use what we talked about in ventures. Name, date, late, age, state. What are some other words that we did? That's good enough for now. And then let's do another list for the long I. What are some words in, say I, um, dime, um,
Line,
line, light, um,
high,
I. Good. Okay. And then sign.
HI. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So that's probably enough. Let me just do this real quick because I'm a little OCD here. Okay. Oh, whoops. But anyway, okay. So you get the idea. So then I'm going to create a T-chart. Let me do this real quick. All right. And you're going to do the long A.
Oh, that's a T chart. Mm.
Yeah. Whoops. This is not working like I wanted to. Okay. So you're going to give each one, why isn't it? There we go. And then, okay. Okay, so this is gonna be number 1. So first you can just do it. Oh, sorry, I'm working with digital. Let me fix it. Let me move my line down. So long A is 1 and long I is 2. Sorry, this is taking a long time. Okay, so everyone show me one finger. A and say A. Repeat with me. Yolanda, show me one finger and say A. Or you can do A because this is closer to the shape of an arrow. Can use sign language if you want. A and then I. A and I. So listen to the word and you tell me if it's A or I. So I'm going to stop. And you can do it with the visual to start, and then you can take it away later. So you're giving lots of support. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and let you look at this. So listen to the word. Name. Is it name or name? Name or nine? It's name. So you're going to make sure every student, and this includes you right now because you're students, has to show it visually so you know as a teacher if they're getting it.
Mm.
And if they don't get it, you can tell them, then they'll switch and copy their partners, right? Okay, here's another one. Light. 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 Is it late or light? Late or light? What did you hear, Kathy? Did you hear late or light?
Light.
Light. Good.
I.
Okay. And that's why I like late and light because they have almost the same sound, right? It's just a minimal difference. Okay, next
And
one.
one could highlight the A and the I, the T
Uh-huh.
zone. That way you can see the A and the I since they have to,
Yep.
they're visual first.
Here's another one. State. State. Show me and say it. State.
State.
8.
Yeah, if you have them say it, again, it's a whole nother. So what is it? It's 1, right? How about sight?
1.
Sign. Sign.
1.
Sign.
No, 2. 2.
Okay, make sure every person shows their 2 fingers. You want to know if
Oh,
they're getting it or not. And if they're not putting their fingers up, you don't know. So you make them do it, just like I'm making you do it, because you need to know. If you don't
Mhm.
know, you can't teach better. Okay, so this is a T chart. Now, again, you can take this down and do it without the visual
Mhm.
later in the week or when you review. And then you can have them. So that's just helping them get the sound and letters and then real words that they know. There's
Okay.
one other thing I wanted to show you and then I need to get out of here. And you're probably like, Dave, this is too long. Let me,
No, this is great. I appreciate
there
it.
was another thing I wanted to show you. What was it? Oh, good. Well, let me show you this.
Was it something from Irene or anything?
Well, Irene has a lot of great stuff. Where is it? Hang on, let me find
Did she
it.
come on today?
Here it is.
Mm.
Okay, let me make sure you can see my screen. Okay, so this is from the amazing ESL team in Minnesota.
Oh,
So
right.
this is called an ESL story bank, and look at what it does. It gives you a chart with a theme. So this is work, and then they have for your literacy, they have the name of the reading, and I'll show you in a minute. Then they have the words, and man, can, ran, fan. And
Mhm.
then they have his jobs. And then they have another kind of phonics, all the look, took, book, cook. And then truck, buck, luck, stuck. Okay.
Mm.
And then you can, for your beginners, this will work for both beginners and the literacy because it has both columns, right? So
Mhm.
let's look at the oops, hang on, let me go somewhere else. Sorry, let me do something real quick. Okay, let me stop sharing. I want to show you this because I think it's so fabulous. And I think you can really use it. So I love to use students' own words, right? And their own stories and their own personal information, because that's what it's really all about. But every now and then, it's good to give them a little practice from something that's not about them. So let me share this with you again. So this is what I just showed you, okay? So, but what you can do is you can click on it and it will take you to the story. Max works hard.
Mhm.
So it starts with some, what do you see? What do you think their jobs are? Where do you think they work? Do you think they're hard workers? And then there's simple reading. And your beginners won't get everything, your literacy, but you're gonna first say, what are the repeated words? Max, look at, where do you see? You see Max's name twice. Any other things you see? And this we talked about with the ESLCP number, looking for key text features. Numbers are important. What do you think these numbers mean?
Mhm.
Right? And then you can look at some of those short A sounds. Has, had, but then also looking back at these key things. These key word phonics, right?
Mhm.
So the phoneme is x, x, okay?
Mhm.
So it's just a way to make the phonics really meaningful to students, because let's look back at that Max works hard. Took, school. So you're looking for all the ooh. Floor, school, that's both oh, but it sounds different. Oh no. Yep, that's a sight word. It's different. So it's just choosing the keywords that your students need to work with and pointing them out to them. And you just read it and have them read it to you. And to do it, the key thing is, and they show this at the bottom of this, all these stories and pictures, right? At the very bottom, they give you the routine. This is the
Oh,
plan. This is your plan for the week. On Monday, this is what you do. On Tuesday, this is what you do. On Wednesday, this is what you do.
and this is for teaching literacy,
This is for teaching literacy.
and that's that Minnesota Literacy Project.
So let me give you this.
Yeah,
Let me get that for you. This could be a really great hang on a second, let me share this with you. A really great piece of your curriculum. Again,
Mhm.
Kathy, if I were you, I would do basic phonics with personal information. Find use the units that we talked about from ventures and put the key ones, maybe choose top 5, and
Okay,
then find out which phonics go with that using that contextualized phonics thing I showed you, and do it with big cheese. So those two things together would, and plus this reading bank, you're good to go.
for
I'm gonna
3.5 hours a day. I think it'll,
Yeah, but you
okay.
also need to have letter cards that they can move around and manipulate. You can say,
Mhm.
show me have them put all their cards out on the table and then show me a B, and they have to hold it up. And you can do this online, Yolanda. You can email them somehow or put in the chat. Well, I don't know, somehow get to them the papers, and then they cut them up and put them in a little clear baggie. And then when class comes up, you say, put all your letters down on the table. Show me the letter B. Show me the
Mm.
letter C, whatever you practiced. So, okay, here's the reading,
This literacy book that you're showing us, is this the beginning or
the one, what are you talking about?
the story bank book?
That is, so let's look at it again. It's both for literacy and, where is
I
it?
know, but underneath, it should tell you, right?
Um, wait, what?
Underneath the page or next to the page?
Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you.
Let me see.
Okay, so up at the top,
Beginning.
in
Okay,
the top,
beginning.
so it says either pre-beginning, which is literacy, or beginning.
Because I got one that says pre-beginning.
Yeah, pre-beginning,
But,
pre-beginning.
yeah,
Oh,
but
you're
this
talking
one
about
reads beginning.
ventures? Are
No,
you
no,
talking about
no.
ventures?
Another teacher shared this book with me. He emailed it to me. But
Oh.
underneath the page, it reads
Oh,
pre-beginning.
let me show you. Oh, I don't know, but definitely you can see here.
Yeah, it says beginning. Okay.
Yeah, right. So this one, hang on a second. Yeah, this is beginning. So this
Uh-huh.
is just the beginning, but what I'm saying too is that you can, looking at these, you can focus on language related to the story. So you could read the story and have the pictures, and then you teach this stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So the main things I want to repeat is you need to teach letters and sounds. If you can contextualize it within a topic with words that students know, and that's that other thing I showed you. Hang on. That's what is it? That's this. Let me show it to you. Okay.
Mhm.
You have that and you're doing big cheese and you're having some stories that they can read, you're good to go. And then, oh, one other thing. This is it. This is it. I can't believe I didn't show it to you. Okay, this is what I love. Let me find it. Let me find it.
I was gonna take a picture of those 3 sources, but,
Hang on just a second. Well,
okay.
let me
Or I
put it
can
in the
if you
chat. So
repeat
let me
them, I'll
put it
write
in
them
the
down.
chat. So in
Oh,
the
great.
Don't
chat,
forget to take the
I'm-
link.
yeah, letter. Okay, so letter names and sounds and spelling and simple spelling rules. That's number 1. The next thing you're going to do is big cheese. And the next thing you're going to do is story bank. So those are the big 3 things. Oh, and use the curriculum from Irene and Liz if you like it, if you like
Mhm.
it. And then one other thing I think it's really fun for literacy that I developed, I did a training, let me find it. Give me a second here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, remember, you can also have the record forms. Whoops, that's not the right one.
Oh, no, it's my fault.
I can't find it now.
Okay, don't worry.
Crud. But you know what I was showing you, right? The last thing I wanted, I can't find it. Where is it? Oh, give me a second. Give me a second. It's here. I have to find for you. Nope, that's not it. Oh, I'll just show you this. It's from our course, Yolanda. Writing activities for literacy and beginning low. I don't know if you looked at this. This is really fun. If you just want to have some fun with your students, let me find this just a second. Okay, let me reshare. Let me reshare. Okay, this is really fun. So there are literacy activities for letter and word identification and formation. So one of them is called Write Back. And it's a team game. And basically students write on each other's backs. And they see if they can tell which letter they're writing. It's very kinesthetic. It's partnery. It's fun. It might be, you probably want to have women with women and men with men.
Mhm.
But it's just a silly, fun game, and you can read the rules. Another thing is I call touch and name. If you go to a children's store or Ross or Michael's or
Mhm.
Marshall's, sometimes if you go in the kids section, they have little clear boxes or containers of 3-dimensional letters,
Mm.
and you put them into bags, and you have in a small group, each group has a bag and they can't see it. It's like a brown bag or a dark bag. And they reach in and they feel a letter and they name it and they pull it out. If they're right, they get a point. And then the next person reaches in and they name it, pull it out, get a point. And you do this for X number of minutes and see who can get the most points.
Oh, that's very
Just
tactile.
very kinesthetic, just fun and easy. Another one is called Sand and Foam Without Surfing. Basically, this is for students. So the foam is shaving cream. You spray some shaving cream on the desk, or you can put some sand. Sand is pretty messy for the classroom unless you have it in trays and stuff. So shaving cream is easy, but you tell them spell a letter and then they write it in this foam with their hand. So it's just it's creating a more of a kinesthetic memory thing. You can read about that. Team spelling, you take 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper and you write the alphabet on a set, and then you multiply the letters A, E, S, T, R, and the other vowels, and you give each student on one of 2 teams like 3 or 4 letters, and then you call out a word from the unit, like name. date. And
Mhm.
if I have an R, an N, I'm gonna run up and I'm gonna stand in front. And if I have an A, I'm gonna run up, I'm gonna stand next to that person, second in line, show the A. So it's team spelling. It's not individuals. And so both teams are going at the same time. And the team
All
that spells
right,
it first gets the point. Does that make sense? Are you visualizing it at all?
I
Yeah.
am, and that makes it fun for them because it's competition.
Yeah, so Yolanda, for an online class, you can maybe have, you could have students write it and then hold it up, hold their paper to the camera, the whole word, and you say, we're not gonna do it until everybody's done it. And the people who don't get it right away, they can kind of copy and then they hold it up. But it's just a fun way to do repetition and it's on the timer and then what else do we have? I think that's it. Oh, scrambled words and sentences. You guys know this game. You
Mm.
know, have students take their little individual letters or words and create words or sentences. And then how to format a paper for writing. So just check this out. Let me put this in the, where did I put this in the, I don't think I put this in here. Let me get it for you. I'm gonna put it into, let me stop sharing. I'm gonna put it into our folder and then you'll have it. I thought I already did, but it's not coming up. So give me just a second, then I'll get out of your face.
Oh, no, it's been wonderful of you to take the time to
Okay,
help us.
where is it? I'm gonna put it in our, I'll put it here.
I like your background, by the way,
Thank you.
that defend immigrant rights.
Yeah. Okay. Let me find it. Where is it? Is it coming up? Writing activities. Okay. Let me show you where it is and then I'll give you the link right now. Let me give you the link first. Okay. So let me put this in here. Chat. So this is writing games. And then I'll show you where it's located. And so you can tap on it in the chat and save it, or I'll show you where it is and you can come back to it. It is located in this. I sent this in an email to you, that exclamation point FSI Literacy Co-op, COP. It's called
Mhm.
Writing Activities for Literacy and Beginning Low. Okay. So
Good.
that was a lot.
It was great.
Thank you, Dave.
I hope you just have fun, play with it and see what works. And then maybe you can share on April 25th. I'll check in with you like a week or so before and let me know. And if you guys have any like exciting things that you want to share with other teachers, you can let me know. If you don't, that's fine too.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
All
No,
right, you
super helpful.
have a great day. I really, really respect the time that you're taking to do this, ladies. Not everybody would do it, and you are, and I totally, totally appreciate that.
Dave, I
Thank you
have
for
a quick
helping us.
question.
Go
So
ahead.
I have to have materials like I'm making for my class.
Yeah.
What materials would you use besides, of course, if we use the Ventures book, but you really don't recommend like the National Geographic book?
I
Have you
don't
looked
know
at
it.
it?
I haven't. I need to look at it.
Supposedly, it's the only one for students that don't
If
know
you
how to
like
read.
it
But
and
I
you're
haven't seen it
excited,
yet.
okay,
No,
I'll have to check it out.
okay.
Let me look at it. National Geographic.
And then one last question. When we do EL Civics for level 1, which you know is
Yeah.
already a challenge,
Yeah.
um, do we receive PDFs in electronic form? Like, can I get an email? Like I'm doing the ITIN right now, for example, and I would love to be able to show the student book on the TV screen
You should
on
be
the
able to. It
Promethean.
should be in Schoology.
I think Mimi said that
Ask
they don't
Mimi or
have.
Annabelle. Yeah, if you don't, they don't.
Oh, okay, no, if they don't,
But
they
I'm
said,
gonna tell you something that I just learned. I mean, if you've already committed and you're in the middle of it, just do it. But
okay,
my colleague Bob has been staying really close to the LA Unified School District meetings, the We Are One meetings for our immigrants.
mhm,
And we're being told that the IRS is giving information to students who apply for ITIN to the ICE. So they're using that against students. So talk to Mimi and Annabelle and tell them Dave and Bob recently learned this. So if you're
Tell
already,
me that again exactly. The IRS is giving.
the IRS is giving information to immigration that they receive from ITIN. So if students already have it, great, but if they don't, just be careful. And I should have
Oh,
Bob,
that's a big one.
that's a
That's a
big,
big one.
so,
So it doesn't
if you're
matter if
just
they're a
teaching,
student or not, they're taking
yeah,
that information. Yeah.
you can still teach them about the process. They're not, the co-op doesn't require students to apply for it. It just tells them what it is and why it can help them. But we're finding out that it's a little bit dangerous right now because that before IRS would just take the information and then they give you, your tax ID. But
Right.
now they're turning that the immigration ICE folks are taking that information and they're looking up these people.
Dave, we almost should pull that then from the EL
You know
Civics
what?
list because we've been promoting it like,
I
oh, isn't this
know.
exciting?
Let me,
I did that all week. You can
yeah,
use this
I
ITIN and it'll
know.
help you get your
It's
taxes back.
it's a sudden change of direction. It's
Okay.
very horrible. We really didn't, we just learned this. We didn't
Mhm.
think it was, when this was created, it was a really great idea. Let
Oh, I'm
me,
glad you pointed that out.
let me
Yeah.
see if Paul Young is still here. I know Bob is gone, but
Okay.
if you're in the middle of it, just do it. Um,
Well, I'm giving the test tonight,
yeah, just do it. If you're doing it, do it.
but I
It
am going to
doesn't mean,
tell them
yeah.
that I heard this. So just keep it in mind because I wouldn't want to, they're going to go get it because I told them it was great and then they get in trouble later.
Yeah, just tell them you know what it is now. We're
There's a-
we're encouraging students. We're telling you, wait, don't
Wait,
do it yet.
hesitate.
Wait.
Yeah.
Just tell
Okay.
them to wait. Don't you don't have to say anything to Mimi or Annabelle because I think Bob and I are going to talk to them
No, I
tomorrow.
don't think I'd rather not. I'd rather it come from
Yeah,
you.
just
Yeah.
talk to the students and just say, good luck with the test. And then after you can just say, don't do it now, wait. Okay.
Okay, Dave. Thank you.
Well,
You're the
you're
best. You know
welcome.
how.
No, I'm glad you came and talked to me. It's just been fun.
Okay. I'll be
Okay,
talking to you
take
more.
care.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you again.
bye.
Bye-bye.